Hi, this is Dr. Georgia. I hope you find today's message a blessing in your life. We want to make sure that we continue to provide these video messages for you when you can't come to church, or for those of you who live in a different state, or we noticed recently we have a lot of people in even different countries who are tuning in. So if that is you and you can donate to us, we invite you to hit that donate button just below the message here. So thanks so much. Let us prepare ourselves. If you put your hand over your eyes, I open my eyes to see the spiritual truth today.
I open my eyes to see the spiritual truth today.
In your ears, I open my ears to hear the spiritual truth today.
I open my ears to hear the spiritual truth today.
And now over your heart, just extend out your arms. I open my heart to receive the spiritual truth today.
I open my heart to receive the spiritual truth today.
The spiritual truth that I'm working with today is that God can only do for us what God can do through us. God can only do for us what God can do through us. God brings love through you. God brings compassion through you. God brings good ideas through you. God is funny through you. God can only bring to us what God can bring through us in our life. But in order to be able to allow God to work through us, we have to be an inlet and an outlet for God. We have to let God come in and come out through us. If it gets stopped if we stop God, which we do a lot, before God gets in us, we stopped. And if we stop before it gets out, which we do even more of, then we're not blessing the planet in the way that we were sent here to bless the planet. But in order to be able to be an inlet and an outlet for God, we have to let excuses go by. No more excuses. No more saying, I can't because. I wasn't raised with people who knew how to do marriage, and therefore don't expect me to do well in my marriage. That's an excuse. No more. We don't care what happened before. We care about right now. There's excuses like, I didn't finish high school, so don't expect any smart solutions from me. That's an excuse. That's an excuse. I can't tithe. What do you think I am, Rockefeller? That's an excuse. No, I don't think you're any of those things. I think you are exactly who you are, which is whole, complete, and perfect right now. Do you know that God is broadcasting to us 24/7? Whatever you want to call that. Infinite wisdom, divine mind, the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it. It's broadcasting to us 24/7. But we don't get God enough time to even get a complete sentence out of God's mouth. We're channel surfing all the time. Something better's coming on, something better's coming on, something better's coming on. And we do that with spirituality too. We say, okay, I'm going to check out Buddhism. I like Buddhism. Oh, well, let's see. I think maybe Islam is more for me. No, let's see. Maybe I'm an earth-based person. Oh, I heard of a Christian church. I might be able to go over there. And we're bouncing around to all. If we would light long enough in any one of those and begin to understand the teachings that they're providing, we could move so much faster. But we're constantly flighting around instead of standing still and allowing God to work through us. There is no perfect religion. There is no, well, maybe this one, but I'm not sure. But what happens is we let any little excuse be the reason we don't go back. If we would just stick with the spiritual teaching long enough to allow it to help us let God work through us in a way. If we could do that, we'd begin to let go of our excuses. And that's really what this talk is about. Letting go of excuses and becoming an inlet and an outlet for God. See, what happens is we swallow small lies that have been told to us when we were children mostly, but even 6 months ago. Somebody told us a lie about ourselves, we believed it, and then we informed a whole excuse regime around it. Somebody said you weren't very smart when you were a kid, and you used that You swallowed that lie, not true, you are a perfect child of God. You swallowed that lie, and then you began to make excuses around it. Somebody told you weren't pretty or handsome. You swallowed that lie and began to make excuses for yourself around it. See, we think that those excuses are keeping us safe, but what they're really keeping you is stuck in your spiritual journey. The reason you're here today is to have a closer walk with God. No matter what, somebody may have told you, look, if you go to this church, I'll take you out to brunch. And you said, okay, I'll go. That's not really why you came. Your soul was wanting you to come and be here. So listen, here's what we believe in religious science. Anything you learn, you can unlearn. Anything you learn, you can unlearn. And so we're in the process now of unlearning those excuses and those reasons for excuses. We're in the process now of letting go of a reason for us to have excuses. And I've chosen as a book to help us do that, a book called Excuses Begone. And the purpose of Excuses Begone is to not work at thinking, oh, what are my excuses? No. The purpose is to learn how to align with 7 spiritual principles. And once you align with those 7 spiritual principles, you no longer have to work at letting your excuses go. Because once you're in alignment, they simply go back into what Emerson used to call the bloated nothingness from which they came. That's where they belong, the bloated nothingness from which they came. Well, we talked about several last time. If you're just joining the series, you can go on our website and catch up from last week, or you can buy the CD and learn the first 3 we did. We're doing the last 4 today. The first one we're looking at, these are spiritual principles with which we have to align. Once we align with them, excuses go by the wayside. Okay, the first one we're looking at today is the spiritual principle and practice of contemplation. Aristotle says this: the highest form of activity is contemplation. And that's good news for us doers, the people who like to do in the world. The highest form of activity is contemplation. See, somebody had to sit down and contemplate that slavery was a stain on humanity. And once they contemplated that and came up with something, then they were able to attract other people, and together the synergy of other people contemplating that began to take action. When women didn't have the vote, somebody contemplated that was not fair. And you know, our natural state is fairness, one of fairness. And when we contemplated that, enough people began to be attracted to that idea, and things began to change. When the Wright brothers began to contemplate not what was on the ground, but how something so heavy, heavier than air, could stay in the air, when they started to contemplate that, that's when action took flight. And we have all taken flight as a result of it. So contemplation is really important. Thomas Troward, who is probably one of the greatest influencers of Ernest Holmes, and who was a great Christian metaphysician who studied in India, and so he had a lot of Eastern influence in his Christianity, he said this. He said, before there was anything, there was nothing. There was no sound. There was no form. There was nothing. So what happened from nothing to something? And his hypothesis is this: what happened was spirit thought about itself. That's the only thing spirit could think about, because there was nothing else. And so everything that was created from spirit thinking upon itself, that self-contemplation of spirit, is what we see on the planet today. That everything that came from that is creation now, came from spirit thinking, including you. You are spirit's thought. You know, the great Persian poet Gibran says that children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. That's what he's talking about. You are a representation of spirit, and there is nothing wrong with you. You're short, you're fat, you're tall, you're skinny. Whatever it is, you're black, you're white, you're gay, you're straight, you're transgender. All you are is a representation of spirit thinking about itself. That's what you are. There's nothing wrong with you. Turn to a neighbor and say, nothing wrong with you. Spirit. All right, darlings, just a little free. Now it's my turn again. Okay. Spirit thought you and conceived you. That's what happened. Dyer wrote this. Whenever we contemplate good, and we match a vibration with that contemplation, then the divine mind, God, Elohim, whatever you want to call that presence, begins to join in with you and attract your desire. Attract your desire to it. See, but here's the thing. Most of the time we spend not on contemplating what we want, but on contemplating what we don't want. And our work is simply to switch that around. You know, many of you studied Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham. And Esther Hicks says this: if you will think about something you want for 17 uninterrupted seconds, meaning that you think about it only in the positive, this is what I want, as if you have it, if you will do that for 17 seconds without any of the but, well, can't do it, too old, too young, too whatever, can't do it. If you will hold it for 17 seconds, then your good travels at you much faster. If you can do it for 68 seconds, she said, it'll almost get right to you. But here, we're going to try this. Get in your mind something that you would like to have. Maybe it's a new house, a new car. Maybe it's your kids to stop fighting. Maybe it's more passion in your marriage. Whatever it is. Maybe it's a trip to Hawaii. Whatever it is. You got it in your mind? What you want. Only what you want. Something you want. Okay, I'm going to use my handy new watch now. And I'm going to give you 17. You're only thinking of what you want now. Don't let anything else in. Just what you want. Go. Stop. Okay. Now you can practice that. But here's the thing. Most of us, even in this room right now, probably started out great. We probably started out, this is what I want. And then the thing, the committee, you know the committee? It started its nasty little language. But here's what happens. We're good religious scientists. We know that what we resist persists. So don't resist the committee. Invite them into the party. Okay, my voice from my mother. Hi, Mom. Have your piece, have your say, and then bye-bye. Whoever else is in your committee, let them have a little, join the party, and then bye-bye. Get rid of them. Don't let them stay forever. But if you don't acknowledge them in your head, what happens is this. You will give them much more time than if you just invite them in, be compassionate with them, and then let them go their way. Here's the thing about contemplation, though. It takes time. It takes time. You know, we did the 17-second, but what we'd really like you to do is contemplate maybe for a whole 15 minutes. Maybe what you could do is say, I'm going to share my Facebook feed time with God today, and I'm going to give I'm going to give a quarter. No, I'm going to give 10% of my Facebook time to God today. And when I do that, I'm going to just focus on what it is that I want. So the first one is contemplation. The second spiritual principle I want to work with today is willingness. Willingness. It sounds easy. It sounds easy. And it's easy to let our excuses go and to be willing for our good unless we're inconvenienced. We don't like to be inconvenienced. I'm willing to not eat compulsively. I'm willing to do, but I don't want to be hungry. You see, I might be inconvenienced a little bit here. I'm willing to go on the dating site to meet a match. But I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to be rejected. See, we may have to face a little discomfort in this idea of being willing in our life. Dyer asks us, you think you're willing? Ask yourself these two questions. Question number 1, am I willing to take 100% responsibility for what is going in my heart and my head right now? Right now. Not what's going on out there. People may continue to disappoint you. They may betray you. But am I willing to take 100% responsibility for my response to my life right now? 100%. Not when I was a child, because that's too hard. But right now, am I willing to do it? Right today, will I be willing to take 100% responsibility? And the second question is, what actions are you willing to take to have the life that you want? What actions? He asks this. Are you willing to change locations and move to another city? To leave your parents or your grown children in order to start a life that you've dreamed about? To quit your current job because all the benefits you'd lose? To end a long-term relationship that you know is wrong for you because of the discomfort it would cause in others? To spend the money that you've saved for emergencies to invest in a dream of your own today? To overcome your fear of beginning new exercise regime that you know would benefit you? To enroll in a college course because you feel you're too old to learn something new? To get the help you need to overcome an addiction that continues to wreak havoc in your life? To stand up to family members or co-workers who continue to treat you unfairly? These are just some examples of things that often we make excuses so we don't do in our life. If we're willing to let the excuses go, there is nothing that will stop us from having an unlimited and very exciting life. The next one I want to talk about is passion. Passion. Greek philosophers say this, that when a person is willing and eager, God joins in. When a person is willing and eager, God joins in. Now, we're not necessarily talking about romantic passion here, although that's a fabulous thing, and I hope everybody has romantic passion. But what we're really talking about here in this one that we want to align with is enthusiasm. That's really the definition of passion, is enthusiasm. It's that time when something inside of us is so, it pushes us. We can't help but go in the direction of our dream. You can't stop yourself. It's just you're moving in that direction. That's the kind of enthusiasm that we're talking about. That no false pride will stand in your way. You're going to do it anyway. No excuses are going to stand in your way. You're going to do it anyway. That's the kind of enthusiasm. That's the kind of passion that we want in our life. And here's the thing. The other 6 principles that I've talked about or will talk about in this series, that takes a little effort. It takes a little effort to be willing. It takes a little effort to contemplate. But it takes no effort at passion. Because here's what you do with passion. You find out that little kernel of passion and you hop on that bandwagon. And you just keep going. It's not a matter of creating passion in your life. It's a matter of noticing where passion is in your life. And when you notice where passion is, hop on and keep going. Don't stop, don't look back, and don't listen to anybody else. I'm passionate about getting the science of mind principles into as many hearts and minds as I possibly can while I'm still on this planet. That's what I'm passionate about. Ted Kennedy, he was passionate about health care for everybody. Jonas Salk was passionate about ending polio. Vince Lombardi, he used to say to the Green Bay Packers, either you play with enthusiasm or you will be fired with enthusiasm. Here's the thing about passion. It's attractive. It attracts us. You know people who are passionate about something, you just like being around them. Even if you're not passionate about it, even if you can care less about it, you just want to be around them. I love the story that General Westmoreland says. He was during Vietnam. He went to inspect the troops, and he was talking with 3 paratroopers, young guys. And he said to the first paratrooper, "It's kind of dangerous. Do you like doing this?" And the kid said, "I love doing this." And he went to the second kid, and "You like doing this?" The kid said, "I love doing this. I can't wait to jump out of those planes." And the third kid, he says, "You like doing this?" And the kid says, "No, I hate it. I'm scared to death all the time. But I love being around these guys." That's what passion does. We love being around people who are passionate about something. So I know that you are passionate about a good life, a life that God meant for you to have, a life of joy and good health and abundance, all of those things. So keep coming back. Let's get it together. Let's do this. Let's take this message into prayer. There's only one power. That's the power of love. I simply allow it to go through me, and it allows me to step boldly in the direction of my dreams. To go where yesterday I didn't think I could go, but today I know I could go. No excuses.